This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings 8 to 9:30 or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombernardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
You damn right. That's all I have to say to you. There's no question. Okay, so it's 50 degrees out. It's partly cloudy.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't all that windy, though, this morning.
It's been super windy the past couple of days.
Yeah, it has.
And I think I've gone on record on this show just how much I hate the wind. It's been terrible.
I hate the wind.
I do. Put it on my tombstone.
And I put it on my tombstone. I hate the wind. I'll call the group, get them
Perfect.
Bob Seger and Silver Bullet Band. They'll get it wrong. I hate the wind.
Is that your old what was it, Take Five? Is that what you
Take
said?
Five,
Mm-hmm.
yep. Let's Take Five.
Your old group.
Get it? There were 5 of us. Take 5, get it?
What was taken? What was being taken?
A break.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was just because after you performed, they're like, why don't you guys take 5? And
Let you take 5, man. That's all I have to say. Moving forward, this is a story I did want to cover. Saw the headline.
Mm-hmm.
An anonymous poll reveals how NFL players really feel about Taylor Swift. Now, I am not involved in this. I've only seen her sing on television a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get the draw. She's okay. I mean, she's not bad. She's not good. She's just kind of okay.
yeah.
Why does anyone care how anyone feels about Taylor Swift? I don't care.
You know, because it's really hard to go about my day if I don't know exactly how everybody feels about Taylor Swift. Because if you're anti-Taylor Swift or pro-Taylor Swift, I got to be able to put you into 2 groups. It's like Bloods and Crips. Yeah, Bloods and Crips, Democrats, Republicans, Taylor Swift, anti-Taylor Swift.
Bloods and Crips, really? That's where you're headed.
Yep.
Typical African American. You see what I'm saying? Did you hate being called African American, by the way? Because you're not African. We're all African.
Yeah, I've never been to Africa, but I guess whatever. Or what's
Let's book a
the
trip.
Montagues in the Capulets?
Yeah.
Yes, from
There we go.
from Romeo and Juliet.
Yep.
Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing. And again, if you like Taylor Swift, I'm not telling you shouldn't like Taylor Swift. I just don't get it. There are a lot of groups that I've never understood. Oh, they're great. No, they're okay, but
I get the fandom, but at like to a certain level. Like there are, I see people crying outside of a stadium because she's playing a song that maybe she didn't play the night before, and it's like I don't get that as much.
Yeah.
You know, end of the day, I'd rather just listen to like the recorded track because you know there's a chance where if you go, you pay this money. First off, hundreds of dollars.
right.
Maybe she's sick. Thousands of dollars. She's sick. And, you know, her voice is scratchy and blah, blah, blah. And so she still is like doing all the pyrotechnics and the choreography and stuff, but it doesn't sound as good. I don't know. You can just, your Spotify monthly charge works just fine.
Yeah, that's exactly. And again, I got nothing against Taylor Swift. I just don't understand the big brouhaha. I just don't get it.
Yeah, and I would assume that this poll probably says that most of the NFL players are annoyed and over it.
Well, we're going to find out. Oh, you didn't look ahead, did you?
I did not know.
Cheater. Have you ever wondered how NFL players feel about Taylor Swift taking over their sport? Besides Travis Kelce, is it Kelce or Kelsey?
Kelsey.
It is Kelsey. Okay. And Patrick Mahomes, that is. Well, according to an anonymous poll, they're overwhelmingly down with the Swifties. 72.5% say Taylor's presence at Kansas City Chiefs games has been a positive for the league. 22.5% don't think it's had any effect either way. And only 4.9% think it's been a negative. One of the haters says, quote, I feel like she's getting unnecessary coverage. There was the whole NFL opening season video on Twitter, and she was featured 5 times, and our quarterback was featured no times. That's not even right. She's not in the NFL. Well, I would agree with that completely. On the positive side, one player said, quote, at the end of the day, it's a business, and you need to get as many eyes on it as possible. And she brings a lot of eyes. So, you know, if that increases the salary cap, I don't think anybody's going to be too mad about that one. Is there anybody who doesn't just focus on themselves? Well, it's okay as long as I get more money. Like, what? I don't understand it. By the way, for your information, only 102 players were polled.
Oh, so that's not even 2 teams. That's not even 2 full teams because it's a 53-man roster.
Yep.
So, okay. Here's what I'll say. I think it's only 4.9% of the people that were surveyed had a negative connotation about it, and I think that's probably the right amount. You know, like you're gonna have some people that are for some reason are very upset. Well, I want to know who's the quarterback. Is it Daniel Jones or is it Lamar Jackson? Like who got excluded? Because if it's Gardner Minshew, I don't think even Gardner Minshew expected to be in the recap video to preview the season. But no, I mean, frankly, I would love it if she was dating like a hockey player or something, because the NHL, they would love that extra revenue. The NFL is king. They know how to capitalize on it. And it's a business. And, you know, for like the offensive guard who gets paid, I say a measly $2 million compared to the wide receiver that makes whatever.
Yep.
Who his sole job is to just take brute force, stopping a 350-pound giant charge at his quarterback every single snap of the game. He wants to cash in. So if that can help maybe make his paycheck a little more at the end of the day, so that when he retires at the age of like 38 or whatever, then he's set.
Yeah, because everything else is about money in the NFL. Like the reason the London game is at 8:30, so now they can have a triple header all day for 3 nationally televised games, so they can sell more ad revenue. So I mean, throwing Taylor Swift up there causes 100,000 Swifties to watch a Chiefs game on ABC or Fox or whatever, and they get to make a little bit more money, and the players make a little bit more money. Who cares?
As long as I don't have to watch it.
Yeah, I'm not watching the Chiefs game either way unless they're playing the Vikings. But
there you go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Look, we've gotten many, many responses, and I do have to agree with our listeners that until she whips out a titty like Janet Jackson, nobody cares. Is that what we're saying? That's what our listeners are saying.
Yeah, I think she would be the least likely celebrity to have some sort of scandal.
I would think so, yes.
Yeah.
But I love Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson is phenomenally talented, a great singer. Why they ever did that to her, I will never understand. It's like, it's a jug. Who cares? Yeah,
well, and then the amount of hatred, I guess, that Justin Timberlake has gotten for various things now over the course of his career, it makes sense why he did that to Janet, or was a part of that.
Yeah, and it's such a weird change of the times too, because that happened in what, 2000?
A long time ago.
3 or something like that. I don't know, but a lot, compared to today, you saw I think the MTV Awards, and granted, different audience, different demographic, maybe a little bit, but I think Katy Perry was scissoring an alien on stage or whatever. Yeah. It's different. How it's crazy how that can happen. A quick mistake that, frankly, with a TV delay, could have and should have been probably dumped.
Yeah,
but when it comes to now, if that happens, it's that's just fine. So
I just figured this out, why I was not impressed by that at all, because if you said it happened 20 years ago, 20 years ago.
I feel like it was
2004.
2004.
It was 2000, so it was 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. Well, no wonder I wasn't impressed by it, because 20 years ago, my titties were bigger than hers. I weighed another 100 pounds. So, I mean, why would I care how big your jugs are? I'm packing a couple myself at the time, I don't know, that kind of stuff. God bless you, Taylor Swift. I guess she's got a lot of talent. I don't know if I've ever heard her sing. Can she sing?
Yeah. She's a fine singer. She's not going to get mistaken for the greatest singer of our generation or anything like that. I think she's more
not like a Whitney Houston or anything.
Yeah, more of a songwriter.
Yes,
maybe.
She is talented, I think, vocally, but not as like what Tevin's saying. She's not a Whitney Houston, Jennifer Hudson type of deal. But
let's not forget Anita Baker.
Yeah,
greatest singers ever.
That whole generation in there, and Taylor Swift's not singing like them, but she is a good singer. Well. Yep, she connects with her audience. She's authentic. Mm-hmm. She's not going to give you any scandals, and she knows how to market herself. That's for sure. Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it all works out in the end, ladies and gentlemen. So good for Taylor Swift, and good for Travis Kelce, and good for everybody. I'm all happy. But I do keep hearing from people, and I don't know because I don't pay attention to stuff, that whole relationship is fake anyway.
I don't think it is now.
Or you don't think it is anymore?
I think that was a fun little I don't know, just rumor for the first couple of months of it. Now we are crossing year and a half. He's gone to way too many of her shows, and taking time out of his life to just be fake. I can understand a couple right off the rip, but he's going to Brazil solely to hang out with her and stuff like that. I'm thinking it's more than likely 100% real, and at this point, it would take like a massive, if they break up, it would shock me, is what I will say.
Mm-hmm. Those kids,
because they've already had some bumps in the road where after the Super Bowl, he was maybe spending a little bit too much time at some strip clubs and bars and things in Vegas that she's not necessarily too fond of. But I think they've kind of ironed that out now that the season started and they're more into a groove together.
There you go.
And it feels like every year it's like, is he going to retire this year? Is this the year? So who knows? Maybe this is the year that he hangs him up and then there's no more football.
I just had a great memory of my mother, my favorite person ever born. I adored my mother. Raised 7 kids by herself, busted her ass, all the rest of it. On the phone with her buddy, she's smoking the cigarette. So she takes a pull and smoke is coming out of her mouth for like the next half hour. Mm-hmm. She was one of those people that deeply drew in that cigarette.
Yep.
And I heard my 86-year-old mother say, well, are we all going to get together? And I could hear the other person go, well, what do you mean? She goes, well, I don't know, Bill and Susie. I don't remember the names. Mm-hmm. Bill and Susie, are those kids coming? Kids? Your buddies are kids at 86 years old, are they? Okay. Are those kids coming? Yes, Toots, they are. Those kids are both coming. Good. Also, I will never forget that.
Also, their kids and their kids' kids will also be with them.
4 generations will be there. It'll be wonderful. No question about it. Why are Americans hoarding toilet paper again? Did you see that? There's no reason for it whatsoever, but they're hoarding toilet paper again. Why?
This is news to me.
Yeah. So
is it in like the parts of the country being affected by like flooding and the hurricane weather?
Oh, you might be right about that. I don't know. If you finally made it through that mountain of toilet paper you stockpiled during the pandemic, time to stock up again. People are panic buying toilet paper because of the port strike. That's why.
I see.
Where's toilet paper from? Do we import toilet paper?
Yeah, I'm guessing so. We have, it's coming from trees.
I just want someday that whether it's Charmin or Angel Soft or whatever, just have a big, strong guy. Hey, take this and shove it up here. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, there really aren't that many like funny toilet paper. Like we got some cute little bears and stuff. Like
right.
Yeah, no. Let's get some more risque toilet paper commercials.
I told you guys a big mistake I made, and I didn't even know I was making it. That I bought single ply toilet paper.
Oh my gosh.
Rough.
It's worthless.
So you just wiped with your finger.
Basically. It's what
because it broke, I'm sure, every time.
But it was like roll. You'd have to take like 10 rolls off the thing.
You're wiping with the entire roll.
Yes, exactly.
It's like the shitty public school toilet paper.
Yes.
It's like waxy almost.
Oh,
like
God, waxy-ish. Waxy butt segment.
Nope. Can't do it.
I agree with you. There's no question. All right, we got to take a break. Start, putting all the onus and, importance on other people. What do you think?
Yeah. If there's somebody hoarding toilet paper, it's our next guy.
Probably true.
Yeah, and just so that way everybody doesn't go mass purchase toilet paper, it looks like at least Charmin is made in Pennsylvania.
Well, there you go.
There we go.
Ports won't affect your butt.
Yeah, so you got your butt is covered.
Yeah.
Literally. Tom for Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities. Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Memory Care Facilities are a place where your loved one will live with pride and dignity. If you care deeply about someone in your life, Wellshire is the place I highly recommend. Wellshire is a memory care focused facility that has a full nursing team, always staffed within the building 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have never used or relied on any staffing agencies. Wellshire of Medina is now accepting elderly waivers after 12 months of private pay. I know them personally. Matter of fact, not only Corey, but I knew his father as well. I've known him for a couple of generations. They're a good family. I'm just telling you, I know them personally, and they are a family-owned local company, conveniently located right in Medina and Bloomington. They are the best staffed memory care facility in the state. Wellshire has a robust community with activities 7 days a week. If your loved one is in need of a memory care facility, please get in touch with my friends at Wellshire. Set up a tour or learn more at wellshiremn.com. That's WEALSHIREMN.com.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Mike Lindell, MyPillow employees, want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, they now have hundreds of products, some you may not even know about. For example, the brand new 4-pack dish towels, just $25. 6-pack towel sets, just $25. Bed sheets for as low as $25. Check out their overstock and closeout sales. Save up to 80% off select items. You're looking for a good night's sleep? Take advantage of the classic collection on a variety of MyPillows for as low as $9.88. These amazing offers won't last long, so order now. Just go to MyPillow.com or call 800-516-5146 and use promo code TOM.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm going to run this by Judd Zalgad from Score North because you need to answer this.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, first of all, your take on why are we hoarding toilet paper again in America? Why?
Because we like to panic.
We do. Oh, okay. Well, see, that's
love to panic. We love to panic.
I like that. That works for me. No question about it. There are a couple of good questions on here, as a matter of fact. And so anyway, before we do move on with that, I'm really suffering the last few days without the Minnesota Twins playing baseball. I want you to know that. It's just really painful.
Really? I'm sorry about that. I mean, what's there to be pissed off about right now? That's the problem.
I know. I just, whatever, it all works out in the end and blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is what I wanted to add. As a matter of fact, this is not just for you. It's for all three of you. But we'll go with Judd first. And then the two of you can jump in on it as well. Okay, you ready? Mm-hmm. Because I know mine are ready, and I'll tell you mine dead last, and then I'll get sued again or something. If you had a T-shirt with your most used phrase, what would it say?
Oh, I like this.
I know. That's why I thought of you when I saw this. Like, oh, you know what?
I mean, there's a lot of options. I feel like here.
Yep.
Boy, I don't know that I have one most used phrase, but it would have to involve an F-bomb.
Okay, it'd have to have an F-bomb.
Like it couldn't be,
right.
it couldn't be clean. It would have to involve an F-bomb. Okay. I need to think more about what the phrase would be, because there's 5 going through my head currently right now.
Okay, do one of you guys have yours locked in? Because I can go first and show you,
Yeah, you go first.
I'm
still thinking it.
Now, I'm using this again because 25 years ago I used it and was called a racist and a homophobe and everything else. So I adopted it as my personal phrase because all I asked was for people to come together.
Yeah.
So my would be assimilator, hit the goddamn road. That would be on my shirt. And I will never forget how they went after me for that. It's like, you stupid bastards had no idea what I just said. We need to come together, you dumb bastards. How they ever pick that out as racist and homophobic? How? We need to assimilate. We need to move toward one another. It's a better, happier society, you dumb bastards.
So that got you in trouble? I
thought it was racist as hell and homophobic, and it was just horrible. Oh my God, it was terrible.
That's a lot of words on a shirt.
Well, it is, because I'd go around the back. I was going to
say, what would you do? Tie it around the back and come assimilate in and of itself that's a
long word.
Long word.
We're charging by the letter on this shirt.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So do you think I should wear a shirt down the street that says assimilate or hit the goddamn road?
Absolutely. If you can find a shop that is willing to spell assimilate right.
Now, that's true.
And find a way to make it work on the shirt. Why not?
Let me ask you guys a question, because you've known me long enough. Well, I mean, you've known me forever, and the other two, you've known me long enough. If you're at a news channel or a newspaper or whatever, and you went after me for saying that, haven't you ever heard the show? Because I'm coming after you. You don't understand one word I just said. You didn't take time to think, maybe it would be a positive thing if we all kind of move toward one another. Wouldn't that be nice? No. Because the show was successful and I had some success without going to college or kissing ass like everybody else does, they hated that whole deal. And I still will never understand how you got to, it was a hateful thing to say. Assimilation is a good thing.
Yeah, I feel like my 2 cents. I feel like now that would not cause a
no, and it shouldn't have back then. It was just the stupid people that wanted it to be something horrible.
Was there an outlet in particular that didn't
God,
like
all of it. Matter of fact, it's still on Wikipedia. I didn't even know that until somebody told me. It's still up on Wikipedia that I said that. You can't be that stupid.
Yeah.
When you grow up in North Minneapolis, you better assimilate to Jewish families, Black families, Italian families, Catholic families, or you ain't going to make it in the neighborhood. I learned to move toward them, not away from them yet. God, that's so stupid. It's unbelievable. I can't believe people are that dumb.
Well, don't forget though, like when you say that you can't be that stupid, that's not necessarily true.
Well, that's a good.
Like we've learned in the past 20 years exactly how stupid people can be. So that's
and again, I'm not going to go on
the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
not being stupid, and that's probably not fair because there's a lot of stupidity.
Yeah, that's very, very true. There's no question about it. And I had they done a little research, they would have known immediately. My show had the first of everything in this market, most of America, as a matter of fact. Had the first transgender person on, had many people of many different skin colors and ethnicities and all. That's how I grew up, you dumb bastards. Just because you grew up out at Whispering Acres with all honkies, it's not my fault. You have no brain. Your problem, not mine. Right?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of my shirt though. I'm still trying to think of my shirt. Like this is it's a great call. I love it, but I can't think of one in particular.
How about Gimme Dat Ding? Remember that song? There you go.
Thank you.
I think mine would probably be like a blank space and then builds character, or like it builds character. Every sort of adversary, that's like my go-to. Like it's a joke for me.
I like that though.
Low on gas. I got to go fill it up. Builds character.
Yep.
Just
it does.
Or like, shoot, no more beer in the fridge. Guess I can't have one tonight. It's gonna build some character.
Yeah. Mine would probably be like, this is our year.
I see the Vikings. I see your
Vikings
hoodie. Yeah.
This is our year.
Tevin's
no matter how much I tell myself we're not getting overly excited, this is our year.
Yeah.
Yep.
It all works for me. So again, do you think people will ever get to the point where, yet again, I think you guys had good slogans. There's no question. We still got to get one out of Judd because he's still thinking about it. But I just, the stupidity of things. I watched the news again, the national news this morning. Boy, that's hard to do. Because they think that things are true that aren't even close to being true. And they know they're not really true, but they kiss ass and suck up to one side. So that's what they do. Would you rather have somebody like that or somebody like, will tell you the truth to your face? You know what? You're kind of a pain in the ass. Straighten out.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know how you watch the news now.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's especially the amount of commentary, like the opinion based things, whatever you want to call them. Yeah. That stuff is impossible. The news networks are absolutely impossible to watch.
They really are. There's no, and it's all of them. It's not just any leaning one way or the other. It's all of them.
Here's a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Why do we still do debates?
I don't know. I would agree with that.
Everyone's made up their mind.
Yeah,
and if you're on the fence, who are you? Like, who's on the fence right now? I mean, it would be like the Cubs and White Sox doing a debate for their fans. You should be a Cubs fan. White Sox fans hate your guts. You should be a White Sox fans. Cubs fans hate your guts. There's no debate to be like. I get debates back in the day perfectly. Like, first of all, there wasn't as much coverage, right? And like people were genuinely, I think, undecided, and debates could actually help to a large degree, going back to the days on radio where they were a huge factor. But why do we have why do we have debates? Why do we have a vice presidential? Did somebody really sit down and watch and was like, oh, JD Vance? You know what? I'm switching.
Yep.
I'm a Republican now.
Yeah.
My favorite part is after those, they cut to like a room with like 8 people.
Right.
It's like, these are all undecided voters. And then they interview like one of them, and you're like, that guy seems pretty decided.
Yeah.
And then they ask another lady. It's like, she also seemed very decided on her answer.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get why we continue, and I mean, this goes for a lot of things in the entire country. I don't get why we don't evolve with the times.
Because there's too much money to be made by keeping people stupid. That's our biggest problem in the world. We love to keep people stupid because then we can steal even more money from stupid people.
But do stupid people need debates?
Nah, I guess they need some entertainment of some kind. Look, I watched the debate, and I thought that Tim Walz did a fine job. I thought that JD Vance did a fine job. You know, they both lost their ways here and there. That'll happen. They both made good points. They agreed on a number of things. I had no problem with that debate whatsoever. Then I found out I was the only one in America that didn't hate one or the other guy.
Right. But the funny thing is, no Democrat said, "Oh, Walz got his ass kicked." JD Vance, right. I'm all with Trump now, right? And no Republican said, "Oh man, Tim Walz, wow, and JD Vance was terrible. I'm switching my vote." That's the thing, is no one's going to switch their vote. No. And you go on Twitter, and the Republicans all said Walz sucked, and the Democrats made fun of Vance, and we all went to bed.
Yep.
Like, this is what I don't understand. Change the rules, folks.
We only got a couple of minutes left, but I do want to bring this up because so now they're going after Trump again for this. I thought that stuff was all just thrown out.
I
don't follow it.
I saw the headline today across the top of the Star Tribune. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't care, because it's not going to affect, unless they said this was going to cost him, like he was off the ticket. Right. Who cares? It's too late.
I don't understand. They just will not let that go, and they're going to punish this person. Look, I don't know what he did. I didn't pay attention to it. I'm hearing from one side that he never asked people to riot, and the other side, I had a guy tell me to my face that 200 people were killed on January 6th. I said, no, they were not. 200 people.
What, did they cart him off under the darkness of night?
Did he specify that, like, solely
right there,
like in
just
DC,
across America,
like across America?
And that's when the Civil War started. Civil War 2.0 started that day.
There was a murder in San Francisco, and I'm counting that one.
You damn right. He was very frustrated.
Day one of the purge.
I don't understand why. Look, first of all, do I think that Donald Trump is filthy when it comes to money? Yes, I do. Do I think Joe Biden is filthy when it comes to money? Yes, I do. I think they're all filthy. They're not my kind of people. I don't like politicians of any stripe. You're a bunch of lying scum who don't want to work for all this money. You just want the money.
Right.
So how am I supposed to like these people?
My problem with January 6th is this. Either have it resolved after it happened.
Yep.
Or let it go. And I'm not saying what happened. I am in no way weighing in on what, I mean.
No,
it was terrible. But why are we still litigating it? We are a month from the election. Donald Trump is going to be the Republican nominee, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, unless you said, hey, we now have enough where he is off the ticket and JD Vance is going to have to run as president, which would, seismically change everything. This is what I don't understand. Like, this is where we are literally spinning our wheels.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And why are we spinning our wheels? Either have made up your mind that the egregiousness of what happened, He can't run. Heck, he might be in jail. I don't know. Whatever it is.
Right.
But instead, we're sitting here a month before, and I'm seeing headlines about, now look at this smoking gun. Well, the smoking gun is now cooled off, folks.
Yeah, it's like my parents used to say, either crap or get off the pot.
I like it.
At this point,
that's a good T-shirt. That's my T-shirt. Damn it. That's
I just want a conclusion. Yeah.
No, you guys are absolutely right. We'll just get through this somehow. But people are being kept stupid because they'll believe this bullshit.
Yeah, stupid and distracted.
Yes.
So what you're telling me is what Joe Polad tries to sell Twins fans and what the country is trying to sell us are the exact same, which again, sports mirrors life.
Yep. Same thing. I thought this was a brilliant report. That's all I have to say to you.
I just like how everything comes back to the insanity of it all.
I gotta close with a laugh because I just got an email from a friend of mine, Doug Dawson, who lives in Toronto, Canada. He's a really good friend of mine. Known him for 30 years, 25 years, something like that. He reminded me there's a guy named Neil Zirconia, and he does a Neil Diamond impression. Get it? Zirconia, Diamond.
Wow.
Get it?
Oh, yeah.
And the guy's really good. He does a nice job and all the rest of it. And there's a place when we're down on vacation in Florida, he's going to be appearing at a local place. So Dougie sends me a message. Did you see Neil Zirconia's coming? You better bring Catherine. We're in the front row. Now, you guys know, particularly you, Devin, know that Catherine has a side to her.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Honest to God, we're sitting there in the front row. He finishes his first song. Catherine turns to me and in full voice, not whispering, full voice said, "This guy sounds just like Neil Diamond. Neil Diamond sucks." I'm like, honey, he's right there 10 feet away from
God.
you. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, poor Neil Zirconia.
Exactly.
In her defense, she didn't say that Mr. Zirconia sucked.
Right.
It was Diamond sucked. So
Diamond
he was
sucked.
better. Yeah.
So he's a better version of Neil Diamond.
Who sucks?
Who sucks?
Yes.
But he's still
what's the percentage that he's good?
Oh,
like,
God.
5%? Like, I mean, she still wouldn't like him then, and she wouldn't like his song.
God, no.
So
No, there's no Shiloh when I was young.
Man, was he big.
He was huge, no question about it.
People don't he was enormous.
We'll close with this one. 43 years ago, I'm at my house, 3506 Penn Avenue North, hanging out. I get a call, and it's Neil Diamond calling me on the phone because I'm working at Capitol Records at the time, right?
Yeah.
Handling the central part of the United States. Tom, it's Neil Diamond. And he does talk like that, by the way.
That's
Tom,
okay.
how you doing, Tom? Neil Diamond. I'm like, yeah, Mr. Diamond, how's things going? He goes, I just want to call and thank you. You know, the Christmas season's right around the corner, and you guys have done a great job for me. And I just really want to thank you for all the hard work. But Tom, the reason I'm calling you is I've got some bad news. I won't be able to come to Minneapolis this Christmas. I'm like, I didn't think you were coming to Minneapolis.
You should have said, Neil, that's not bad news. Bye.
Bye. Nice
I'm watching Chips. Bye.
Yes, I'm watching Chips. Nice talking to you.
I'm watching Chips. A big scene, Neil. Bye. See you later. BJ and the Bears on next.
You know, I've had a great life just being around all these crazy bastard people.
That is awesome. You should write a book. That's an old cliche, but you should write a book.
I said that if I ever do write a book, I wanted to call it miasma. And they say, no, you can't call it that. Nobody knows what that means. I said, the whole point is that nobody knows what miasma means. Wouldn't for a disc jockey, a morning show host, or a radio guy for 55 years, miasma would be the perfect name for a book because miasma means poisoned air. Don't you think it'd be a great name for a book?
Or a band.
Oh, yeah, poisoned air, miasma.
That's a great band name, too.
See, now somebody's going to have to steal it.
Yeah.
I want to call my book Miasma, and they said, no, you know, and I don't even want to do a book, to tell you the truth, but if I ever did, I'm going with miasma, whether you like it or not. I don't give a rat's ass.
Are you kidding?
Miasma.
Poison air is awesome. That's awesome. But if it's not a book, would be a great band.
Miasma is a great name for a band. You're absolutely right. Poisoned Air.
Yep.
All right, Pally, we will talk to you on Tuesday.
All right, everybody. Have a great weekend.
You too, sir. Thanks very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Judge Allgad, Score North. Take a break. Hi, Tom Barnard here for Livia Weight Control Centers. Your success story starts today. Join Livia's Doctor Recommended, an award-winning nutrition program. You get your first 8 weeks free. You could lose up to 20 pounds or more in your first 8 weeks. Plus, Livia offers weight loss medications to accelerate results. Receive personalized one-on-one guidance, plus expert nutrition and medical support. Livia is the destination for all weight loss solutions. Trust me when I say this, Livia works. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go in and see them today. I finally made the decision that I'm going to have to stop lifting weights because I've tried to take off that 7 pounds I put on, and I just cannot lift weights and take it off. But I mean, that's a good thing because you're building muscle. But I'd like to get down to my goal weight first, and then I'll go back to doing it little by little. And I'm going to ease into it. I know this is hard for you guys to believe, but me rushing right to the top weight that I've ever listed, what a shock. Gee, Tom, we've never heard you do something like that before. But yeah, it's Livia works like a charm. I'm going to just tell them. Matter of fact, I'm meeting with them today and to tell them, look, I'm going to get off the weights until I get down to 214. And at that point, I'm going to have to figure out where to start so I don't just chunk up right away. You put on muscle very fast, I bet, don't you?
Yeah, I'd say probably about average for.
Oh, is it average?
People. Yeah,
because I would think because you're big enough that you would put on weight quicker than most people.
Yeah, I think it's more. Yeah, I can see the results right away, and then kind of plateau and have to push through.
Right there, you go. Visit Livia.com. That's Livea.com. Call 855-GO-LIVIA. Join Livia's nutrition plan today and get your first 8 weeks free. Plus, Livia Medical offers GLP-1 medications for accelerated results. Visit Livia.com or call 855-GO-LIVIA. Choose the trusted leader serving our community for 15 years. Livia works.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain, and chip issues all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? Inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Austin Bartz of Bartz Lawn and Landscape and Bartz Snow Sculptures.
I started banking with North American, I think, 3.5 years ago. All the people know me by name. I know them by name. It's fun to come into the bank and actually talk to somebody you know. So I made the switch and I'm very happy. It's the best bank I've ever been at.
So why not bank where I bank? With my friends at North American Banking Company. To learn more about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com, or do what I do and stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Eggert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Mr. Eggert. Oh, you're back in the studio.
Yes, sir. Hopefully you can hear me okay. AJ, I did all the technical stuff, the highly technical advice that you gave me of the restart of the computer.
Have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in?
Yeah, there you go.
You sound.
It almost always works. It almost always works.
So I'm glad we worked through those issues.
Thank you.
You guys are really busting your ass. I'm telling you.
Yeah, we try.
Tom, have you ever watched? I heard you talking about Neil Diamond. Last year during the holidays, I watched The Jazz Singer with my stepdad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a terrible movie. It's terrible. Terrible.
Now, what year did that come out? What year did that come out? Like in?
I would guess mid to early 70s. I don't know.
Yeah,
Was it later than that?
The Jazz Singer, I think, came out in the late 70s.
Let me ask
thinking it
the
was
old
like 78, 79, something like that. That's what I was. Maybe.
Oh, 1980.
Oh, so it was 1980. Yeah, I was off by 1 year. There you go.
So, because I love the song America, and that's what that song is from.
To America.
And I'm like, what a great song. That movie is so freaking terrible, though. And like the culmination of that moment in the movie, even it's lame. I'm like, wait, how did this really good song suck so much in this movie? It was hilarious, though. I highly recommend it if you want something just to laugh at, because it was pretty funny.
I've never seen it. Don't tell Neil Diamond, but I've never seen it.
Well, he's a cantor. He's a cantor
Right.
in in the I don't know, in the Jewish church and in synagogue. And so at some point, but his dream is to become a jazz singer. And
certainly.
So he leaves the synagogue and then he runs out and he goes to the club and he's got a whole, it's so stupid.
It's all true.
It's so bad.
It's all true. No question about it.
Sorry. I don't know what I got. I went down the rabbit hole on it last year and I'm like, dude, this movie is so bad. It's good.
It is a terrible movie. Like I said, I never saw it. Thank God I never had to go see it or anything. Well, Neil, I was going to see it, but I have to make a trip to Texas, so I can't make it. Well, it's showing in theaters in Texas too. Yeah, but I'm coming back to Minnesota, and then
there's a place around the world. We come into America. And he always did that thing. Your diamond.
It's all true, ladies and gentlemen. No question.
In the news this morning, we're sending some money and some National Guard folks and some more aid down to the Southeast, as they're just, it's like every day comes out, you're hoping to get more optimistic news about the situation down there, but it's not. It just sounds worse every single day. So that was one of our stories today. Unfortunately, I would ask people to go to our website, to kstp.com. A 12-year-old girl was hit by a car as she was going to the bus yesterday morning in Brooklyn Park.
Mm-hmm.
She's not in good shape. She's in the hospital, but they have video of the car they think was involved in it. So if people wanted to help to find this person who hit a girl and left the scene of a crime, it would be great to share that on their Facebook pages, because I don't want that person out driving around.
Right.
Because you shouldn't hit somebody with your car and then leave them there.
That would be nice if you didn't do that. That's
that's not cool. And Holidazzle's back.
Oh, Holidazzle is back. Where's it going to be?
Nicollet Mall, where it was before.
Oh, it is really?
Yeah.
I still, the reason I asked that is, when did that start? About what, 40 years ago or 35 years ago?
I mean, it's been a while, but it was off the last year.
Mm-hmm. So many years ago, Tommy's going to see Holidazzle. It was right along the Nicollet Mall, if I remember correctly. They go down the Nicollet Mall, don't they? I think.
Yep.
Okay, so Tommy's coming up on it. It's the Christmas season. Everybody's all fired up. And I'm walking up. I told Lastman that I'd meet him at the Holidazzle. All right. Okay, well, let's just meet on the corner of blah and blah, because it's packed, right? I mean, so we'll meet on the street corner of blah, blah, blah. So I'm walking up and I see Lastman standing there. He's face the other way. He's watching the parade and all the rest of it. So I sneak up behind him, put him in a headlock, and I'm about to bring him to the ground and realize it's not John Lastman.
It's not him, right? I think I remember you telling this story before. That's funny.
The guy's, what did I do? What did I do? I'm like, oh God, sir, I'm sorry. I thought you were
sorry about that.
What a dope.
Boy, if that had happened in this day and age, you'd have been in lawsuit city, my man.
You got that right. There's no question.
You cracked my vertebrae.
The guy pulls a neck brace out of his pocket and
throws it around.
Yep. Come on, give me some of that Tom Barnard money. Hell yeah.
he looked just like Lastman from behind. Not so much from the front, but from behind. Whoops.
Well, that's a good lesson learned before you go throw somebody in a headlock, I guess, right?
I've never done that to anybody else again, so I did learn a lesson. So that was good.
There you go. Very good.
Any other top stories you know before you hit the road?
We have Bill Nye, the science guy, on the show today on Minnesota Live.
Oh, is he? He's like a big communist, isn't he?
I think his views are pretty left from what I can tell.
Yeah, he gets very pissed off about it.
I'm not really hoping to talk to him about a lot of that. I just kind of want to talk about Bill Nye, the science guy. But we'll see where it goes.
His show's theme song in Chinese is a great pregame song because it sounds like they're just saying beer, 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 beer,
beer.
So you just drink the entire time. Look at it if you haven't seen it. Bill,
why do you know what his song in Chinese sounds like?
He's looking it up now.
I'll see if I can quick.
He's going to pull it up. You know, I don't know if you know this, but Chris Eggert's got other duties to perform today, so he can't just sit around waiting.
I have many duties. Many. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, oh God, here we go. Tomorrow it could be questionable. I'm live in Annandale tomorrow morning because we're going up there to cover homecoming and just go hang out in Annandale for the morning. And we haven't had a lot of great luck with the old call-in when I'm remote. So,
you know what's weird about that? You know whose family had a cabin in Annandale? What's the name of that? Annandale Lake? Is that the lake there?
Well, Lake Sylvia, I think, is one of the lakes there. Yeah.
You know whose family had a cabin on that lake?
Who?
Connecting all morning long on the show. John Lastman.
Oh, really? I'm going to go throw somebody in a headlock.
Put him in a headlock up at the lake in Annandale.
Why are you covering the Annandale homecoming?
We wanted to go to like out of the metro area high school for homecoming, and we had some connections to Annandale, so ended up going there. So, and they're excited for us, so it'll be fun. But yeah, I'm just thinking. I'm thinking right now. I'm already predicting that the service is going to suck. So
we'll figure it out.
We'll get it all worked out. All right. Well, if you can be on. If you can't, then I'll just be used to it because you've stiffed us many times.
Well, I want you to know it will be because I'm working. It's not because I'm gallivanting. Maybe the next week after that, I'll be gallivanting, but we'll worry about that.
You going on vacation from what?
Not vacation. We're following the stupid football team around everywhere. So it kind of depends. Okay. Yeah.
You're not going to England, are you?
No. St. Thomas. Our kid plays for St. Thomas.
Senior, right?
No, redshirted. So technically freshman, sophomore. So yeah. They play Marist next week, which is in Poughkeepsie, New York. I still haven't decided if we're going because let me tell you, there ain't no easy way to get to Poughkeepsie. I'm noticing. So,
you know, the only thing I was upset by that, and it's my own name, and I was more pissed off about it, but. The St. Thomas Tommies, really? That's what you want? Why don't we go with the St. Eggert Chrissies?
Yeah, it is. I agree. It's kind of lame.
It's lame. It's my own
name. I didn't make it up. Whatever.
Yes, you did. You liar.
All right, you guys.
Right, Pally, we'll talk to you maybe tomorrow, or maybe it'll be sometime in December.
Nah, I feel optimistic about tomorrow.
All right. Okay. Yeah, sure you do. Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. We shall take a break. Be right back. Michael Bryant will join us right after this. Talk a little legal. This is going to be an interesting thing to talk about.
Yeah, I have a few things I want him to answer. So.
Oh, you do?
Well, just about the situation that I don't understand. I don't understand a lot of things, believe it or not.
Me too. I'm right there with you. Michael Bryant, our special guest, right after this. When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert. You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert when it comes to fixing your car. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. Josh Arnold is my expert, and he should be yours too. I talk to Josh every week, and he understands the market and the economy, and he knows how to plan for your retirement. Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank all our listeners for all your continued support. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, they now have hundreds of products some of you may not even know about. For example, the brand new 4-pack dish towel sets, just $25. 6-pack towel sets, just $25. Bed sheets for as low as $25. Check out their overstock and closeout sale and save up to 80% off select items. You're looking for a good night's sleep? Take advantage of the classic collection on a variety of MyPillows for as low as $9.88. These amazing offers won't last long, so order now. Just go to MyPillow.com or call 800-516-5146 and use promo code TOM.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. I was watching the show the other night, World's Funniest Videos, I think it was called.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
World's Funniest Videos.
Uh-huh.
There's a guy on that show named Michael Bryant. Did you know that, Michael? That there's a guy on World's Funniest Home Videos that Michael Bryant is his name.
Did not know that.
But it's not you. I kind of.
It is not.
Well, you could be good on there. You never know.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yes, thanks for clarifying. There's no question about that.
How many movies or Academy Awards have you won?
Academy Awards? God, it's been a lot.
Tom Barnard comes up every year, doesn't he?
Yeah, Tom Barnard comes up every year. He wins. Everybody calls me, God, you won another one? Yes, I did. Thank you. Thank you very much for calling. No question. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. There's one of those guys out there as well. But so I don't really understand how the law works anymore. That if you get drunk and have a level of 0.325 and you get in your car and you drive and you make a massive mistake and kill 2 people, why do you ever get let out of jail? I don't get it.
Well, I mean, he hasn't been convicted yet.
I convicted him.
The style's still coming. Yeah. And most people have. I mean, he hasn't faced a trial yet. And they're still in that process. So the way we do it under the Constitution, because we don't just throw people into jail and just let them sit there forever, is there's what's called a bail hearing where they decide whether or not you can have bail. And they set bail on him very, very high. And then after some time's gone by, when they were in the most recent hearing, they started talking about reevaluating that and looking at what the options were. And they found that there were conditions. If he'd meet certain conditions, he'd at least be temporarily let out for a little while, pending the trial that's coming up. And his conditions are pretty extreme. I mean, he's wearing a bracelet all the time. He can't drive, can't have any contact with the victims or the victim's family in any way. And then the interesting one is he has to go to treatment, but beyond that, his lawyer has to drive him directly from the jail to treatment.
Good.
And that's interesting because basically they're relying upon the lawyer as an officer of the court to make sure it happens, that he goes directly into treatment. And that's kind of one of those extra steps because they're forcing the lawyer to do something beyond just, represent the guy. He's got to actually drive him to treatment. So with those conditions, the judge is willing to do it and signed off on it. And if he breaks any of those conditions, he'll be right in and then never let out again, most likely.
I have a question for you, though. I mean, here's a guy. Hasn't he already had like 5 DUIs?
Yeah. So, and he'd gone through an incredible process. Go ahead.
No, I'm shocked by that. I've never had one DUI. People do make mistakes and get one, or well, I guess, I don't know. But 5, there's kind of a history here, sir, that maybe you shouldn't drink and drive, you dumb bastard.
Yeah, the incredible thing with his story, he'd got one in Wisconsin, then he got many in Minnesota, and he was actually, his driver's license was taken away. And then he went through the whole long process of getting his driver's license back. And it's not easy. It's a very extensive process that involves a number of things that you got to do, including affidavits of your friends. Your friends have to put in affidavits saying they haven't been drinking. And if there's a single error in any of those affidavits, like a date's wrong or something's wrong with those affidavits, they're thrown out and you got to go back. You got to wait a year to reapply. So he went through that whole process, had interlock on his car for a long period of time, did a bunch of things, and then got his driver's license back. So he actually got his privileges back again. And then this, unfortunate, horrible tragedy happened. And it's a horrible thing overall.
It's such an amazing thing. And I guess to me, I'm kind of living proof that people either are totally addicted to it or it's just something, because when Catherine came to me, 15 years ago and said, Tom, you probably shouldn't drink anymore. I went, okay.
Has it been that long? 15 years?
It's been about 15 years. Yeah. It's been something like that. But
I've known you too damn long.
Well, thank you for your, support. There's no question about that. But I mean, there's some guys that just cannot stop drinking. Men and women, they cannot stop. So I just want to, thank whoever it is to thank that I was asked to stop once. So I did. Although I didn't drink. I stopped drinking when I was 21. I started when I was 11 because I was already working at 11 years old. And then I stopped drinking at 21. Then I started again at 29. But then, when it was time to stop, it was time to stop. But some people's brains just, and I'm not saying they have, brains that don't operate properly. All I'm saying is that what do they know what it is that just some people just cannot stop?
I don't think they've reached that point to figure it out, because they could probably figure out a way to turn it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a certain level of addiction that's just always there. And then sometimes people just take one addiction and move it to another, so, it's just addictive personalities, which doesn't excuse it. Just means they move to something else. And sometimes it's destructive and sometimes it's just harder workers, so sometimes it's good for society that they move to something like hard work or something. So
now where is this guy staying? And so he's out of jail. So he just staying at his own house or something?
No, I think he's he'll be staying at the treatment center. I don't think he's out yet.
Okay. All right.
But he's going to a treatment center, is my understanding, and that's where the lawyer's got to bring him directly there. So I would guess they have to have a bed available, and they have to get all the things in line. But that's going to be where he goes.
Yeah, I don't see, for a person like me, I do not understand. You've already broken the law now for the 6th time. Why he should ever get out, I don't really understand.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't been convicted yet is the reason, that's the difference. So when we put our Constitution together, that was the idea. We don't just throw people in prison because we don't like them or because we have a view that this is what should happen. They have to actually be convicted of whatever they did, even if it's clear they did it.
Unless you're a politician, then you get convicted or set free immediately.
Well, that's a whole different story altogether.
That is a whole different story. Yeah, it's just such a sad. I do find drug addiction and alcoholism and those things just very, very sad because, growing up, you watch people's dads just drink themselves to death or watch, brothers die of an overdose or.
Oh, yeah.
It's just very, very tough to go through that whole situation. Drugs and alcohol have ruined a lot of families over the years. And I don't know. It just, when it's time to go, it's time to go, right?
Yeah, that seems to be the case, and we don't get to choose. Well, I guess some people choose, but overall, we don't get to choose.
Yeah, I didn't really hang out with any. I mean, I hung out with guys that drank and all that stuff, but I don't remember hanging out with a guy who just could not stop. I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't know. That could be it.
Yeah, the good ones, you don't really see it, or you see the end of it is what seems to be the case. But I think you've been around people, that it's majorly affected their careers or affected their choices in life.
No, I know you got to go in a couple of seconds here, and I don't want to drag you into something, but what I'm trying to do is learn. So now they're going after Trump again before the election. I thought this stuff was just all settled out of court.
Yeah, what's happened is because of what happened was he was convicted in New York, and then the Supreme Court came down with their decision that said that you can't. It put restrictions on what you can convict a president of as he's a sitting president. And so the judge in New York is faced with figuring out, well, what is still viable as far as convictions and where are we sitting as far as that goes. So they delayed it. And now the U.S. Department has just dropped their brief saying, here's why we think we can uphold certain convictions, or here's why we think we can bring new convictions. And that brief or parts of that brief has come to light. And that's the battle that's going on, because we would have probably had sentencing or at least some sort of hearing in the New York case by now, but the Supreme Court delayed everything. And then, people are, in disagreement about what it means. The big question comes up is, if he wins, can he pardon himself? And that's going to be one of those scholars are going to be scratching their heads about. And then the bizarre thing about that is if he does pardon himself, then who's going to have standing to fight that? Because what would happen, and I assume it'd be somebody in Congress or somebody in one of the U.S. legal branches, they probably could be told by the president not to do it. So we're going to get in this giant fight that's going to involve all three branches of government, and I don't know how that's going to turn out. I have no idea. So, so we'll see.
I just don't understand how all of this, that the distractions and the this and the that and that judge that he had. And I'm not trying to stand up for Donald Trump here. I don't know what he did. I don't know what he didn't do. I think anybody who'd run for president's probably a crook. So, we can just go down that line.
There was a 100th birthday. There was a 100th birthday this week that would completely disagree with.
No, I've supported as a human being. Jimmy Carter is a very, very pleasant man. Never got to meet him in person. Talked to him on the phone a couple of times. Very, very pleasant person. And to this day, I still don't understand why he wasn't such a good president. It just didn't work out for him, huh?
Yeah. Well, it was a tough time. I mean, it was really tough time.
Yeah, that's true.
You had Iran, the hostages. Holy cow. Get the loudest train in America.
I thought they were hitting you. Like, whoa.
Trains. But I mean, you had the hostage, you had the oil shortage, you had a whole bunch of things that happened that were just, I don't know. I don't know what president could have handled some of those things. And then, the speech in the cold White House with the sweater probably didn't fly very well.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I really wish that people would just calm down and stop being so pissed off at each other about everything's wrong. Everything's wrong now. It's really sad.
Well, to tell the truth, I thought, the debate this week was one of the most civil debates
I did too.
In a really long time.
Yep.
And what the policies you can disagree about who you like and all those things.
Right.
But those guys actually seemed to be like introducing themselves to America. They were nice to each other. They shook hands. Yep. And it was a nice sign that maybe in the future we're going to have something different. Maybe, possibly, but who knows?
I hope you're right, but I agree with you 100%. I don't think anybody won or lost that debate. I just thought it was very pleasant. They agreed with each other, which is something that Trump and Kamala Harris could never do. I thought it was, I watched it. I enjoyed it. I thought they were both pretty civil. But now, they won. No, they won. Really, did anyone win that debate? I think maybe we all did because they weren't a couple of pricks.
Yeah. I mean, both of them had to introduce themselves to the country in ways so that, voters could decide, hey, if something happens to the lead, what will we end up with? And I think they both did a good job on that front. They both had issues they had to deal with. And, I don't envy Vance because I would not want to make positions that I later on would be, questioned in a tweet or something. So I don't envy. He was in a very, very tough position. And I thought he did well.
Yeah, and in Tim Walz, they threw the stuff at him that when the Tiananmen Square thing was inaccurate, and that was so they both went through that kind of thing during that whole debate, and they both. Well,
I know Tim, and I like Tim a lot. So I thought he, it's interesting the reaction people are getting to a Minnesotan. you're getting this natural reaction of, oh, that's what they're really like. You know what I mean? With the little bit of an accent and with a little bit of the, kind of, country kind of side of it. It's not as polished as, some of America thinks they are.
Well, I think that is absolutely true. And one thing about, and look, I was born in Minnesota, raised in Minnesota. I love it. I live here because I want to live here. But Minnesotans are pretty good at the backstabbing. They never bring that part up. They're very pleasant to your face, but they're really good at backstabbing too, man.
How are those wounds?
They're not healing yet. I'll tell you that. They're all this time. They're still not healing. But sorry, I succeeded, folks. I shouldn't have done it. You're right. I'm an asshole. I should have never succeeded without your help.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Palomino. So when are we going to go out with we got to get the group together, go out to dinner again.
Sounds good. And I'm going to see you tomorrow. So
yes, I will see. Yeah, that's right. See, it'll all work out in the end. All right, pal. Thanks a lot.
Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Bryant, Bradshaw, and Bryant. So, that's some perfect advice for people out there. Pay attention to these things, because there are people that think I am got these all really psychotic political beliefs, all the rest of it. If that's true, how do I work with Michael Bryant and Michael Gelfand? Nobody is further left than Gelfand. Nobody on earth. And I love the guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a wonderful guy. He's nuts. Don't get me wrong. But But how is it possible that I could be so locked in my ways that I love a guy who has the most extreme political views I have ever seen? Because I like him as a person. What's wrong with that? I mean, he's not getting him elected by himself, right?
No, that'd be impressive if he was.
That'd be quite the feat.
I'm going to, just the fact that I plugged him in a positive way, I'm going to cut his salary now. But, that. No, Michael Bryant's a good friend of mine. He's a very liberal guy. And Mike Gelfand is. I can go down an entire list of people. Then on the other side, I got some guys that lean pretty hard right. And I go, well, good for you too. It's not where I am. But I don't get upset by that stuff like most people. Why do people get so upset when you don't agree with my political views? Who cares?
Right. That's their only sense of self-identification is their political views. And
really?
So if you disagree with that, well, then you disagree with them as a person.
We've had different lives, though.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't get that.
But that's not coming from like a logical place
that's
most times.
So be who you are. Yeah, you be you, I'll be me. We'll be good. Like I said, we'll try to meet in the middle. Hopefully we'll start moving toward the middle. That'd be great. And we'll figure it out. We'll take a break, be right back, a little schmooze, see what's going on. In about, it appears to be about 12 minutes now, Kristen Burt's going to come on and ruin our lives. But other than that, we'll be right back. A little news right after this. Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Austin Bartz of Bartz Lawn and Landscape and Bartz Snow Sculptures.
I started banking with North American, I think, 3.5 years ago. All the people know me by name. I know them by name. It's fun to come into the bank and actually talk to somebody you know. So I made the switch and I'm very happy. It's the best bank I've ever been at.
So why not bank where I bank? With my friends at North American Banking Company. To learn more about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com, or do what I do and stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? Inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings, or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert. You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert when it comes to fixing your car. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. Josh Arnold is my expert, and he should be yours too. I talk to Josh every week, and he understands the market and the economy, and he knows how to plan for your retirement. Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at TomBarnardShow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Kristen Burt up in about 10 minutes. But this is a story I'm really, really glad we had time to get to today because it came up in the debate, which I really kind of liked. Coach praises Tim Walz's son for helping protect other kids after shooting. When the issue of gun violence came up at the vice presidential debate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz had a personal story to tell. His teenage son, Gus, had been at a sports center last year when a shooting took place. Did you guys even know about this stuff?
No, I didn't even know Tim Walz had a son, to be honest with you.
You didn't know Gus?
No.
I knew he had a son because he had, I've seen him on like his Twitter and stuff. And then I know he had that kind of viral moment of being proud of his dad at the, was it the DNC when he was like, that's my dad up there. So that was a cool moment. I didn't know about this though. That kind of caught me off guard when I saw that during the debate.
I mean, it's a terrific story. When the issue of gun violence came up at the vice presidential debate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz had a personal story to tell. His teenage son, Gus, had been at a sports center last year when a shooting took place. Gus Walz was doesn't that sound like somebody that owns like a bowling alley? Hey, let's go see Gus Walz over at the bowling alley, right?
Maybe like a plumbing, like an auto body.
Auto
body shop.
AC repair.
Yes.
Gus Walz was at a volleyball practice at Jimmy Lee Recreation Center in St. Paul the afternoon of January 18th, 2023, when a 16-year-old was shot and seriously wounded outside. It was the first time Walz had spoken about his son's brush with gun violence, and the shooting itself was widely publicized locally, but I don't remember this story. Well, I must have been out of town or something, because I don't remember that story at all.
I don't. And I think that maybe frankly, I think that's maybe just like a credit in a bad way, just how regular shootings are now.
Yeah.
Where it's just like something like that can happen and we just have no recollection of it. Like,
right.
It might've been on a day or two in the news headlines. And then it's like, all right, there's probably, frankly, unfortunately, another one that came up and like replaced it in the news cycle.
Yeah, there you go. But I would have thought I'd seen something on it. But now we are. That's good. It wasn't the first time Tim Walz had spoken about his son's brush with gun violence, and the shooting itself was widely publicized locally. But the Democrats' remarks Tuesday night at his debate with Republican J.D. Vance says the public is still getting to know both vice presidential candidates, offered the biggest stage yet to personalize an issue that has deeply affected many American families. On Wednesday, the youth volleyball coach, David Albornoz, praised Gus in an interview with the Associated Press for how he helped other kids get to safety and keep them calm amid the chaotic scene. I mean, it's just a wonderful story. Here's a kid, what was he, 18 years old? I think something like that when it's 17 years old. Well, this is a good way to close it. Well, I think all parents watching tonight, this is your biggest nightmare, Walz said. Look, I've got a 17-year-old and he witnessed a shooting at a community center playing volleyball. Those things never leave you. And he's right about that. That kid's never going to forget it. That's absolutely true.
Absolutely not.
Wonderful, wonderful story about somebody stepping up to help others, though. And he's only 17 years old. So, but he, just like his dad, was never in Tiananmen Square. You got to take a shot at the guy on the way out, don't you? You never notice that all those news people on the national channels, on the way out, they always got to get that shot in there.
Oh, yeah. Somebody did something great for the community, and they're like, yeah, great story. Handed out turkeys on Thanksgiving to the homeless, and it really makes you forget about that time he stole all that money from the church over at West Broadway. But good for him.
He got there pretty speedy. Not quite as speedy as when he got stopped going 60 miles per hour over the limit with 694. Yeah.
No, I think it's a great story. I'm glad he brought it up, and I'm glad people paid attention. I really liked J.D. Vance's reaction to it when he said, my God, you just told a story that actually happened to your son. It was a very, very nice very, I don't want to say American moment, but, I grew up in America. So to me, it's an American moment. We need a lot more of that kind of caring from our politicians. We don't get very much of that. We need a lot more of it. So if you get off your ass and be nice to people.
Yeah, especially coming off of the last election cycle where it was where the kids were even getting dragged through the mud, and every time it was Hunter Biden this and all of Trump's kids and blah 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 blah. Yeah, let's let the kids live their lives as long as they're not doing the nefarious stuff that the previous.
Ooh, nefarious. Yeah. I like nefarious.
Great word.
It is a really
I'll surprise you every once in a while.
Nefarious. Oh, see, this makes me sad. Man faces 34-year term after admitting to Loring Park murder. So every time I hear the words Loring Park, I think of being a 4-year-old boy walking across the street from 1200 Spruce Place and playing in that park just about every day in the summertime, man. I don't like to hear about people being murdered in there.
Yeah, it's definitely on the way down. Or I shouldn't even say on the way. It's probably been down for a while now.
Why, by being down, you mean like taking her deep?
Like if you're in Loring Park after a certain time.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Probably time to scatter.
But I used to stand there by the little pond in Loring Park and look at all the little fishies that would swim in there. And it was just like, look, I went to Basilica for about the third of a year before we moved down to Les Sueur, Minnesota. But great memories of Loring Park. Apparently, the Minneapolis man said he killed a Rochester man outside a party in Loring Park 2 years ago. So that a party got in an argument. One guy ended up killing the other one. So it wasn't actually in Loring Park. It was by Loring Park. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Essentially, the side opposite of the sculpture garden. So if you're like going away from the sculpture garden, that's where you start to get into the areas that aren't the greatest.
Okay.
What?
I just said okay.
But there's like
so you can show up there tonight? Is that the plan?
That's now I know where to avoid it.
Yeah, but like on Hennepin where it's like there's like I think it's Guy Now, a new restaurant and stuff. Like there's some nice, like that's a nice area, but essentially once you get on the opposite side of Loring Park.
Is Lurcott still there?
I think so.
That's a good restaurant.
Like the French place.
Isn't that the place that Prince used to love to go? I think
that's still there.
I think it is. Yeah. I hope so. I've been downtown in a while. I mean, I drive through and all that stuff, and it's not like I'm afraid to go downtown, but it's just, I don't know. Is there anything to go downtown?
That's not what Tevin said. He said you were scared.
Every once in a while, I was
terrified.
Well, downtown's been dangerous ever since you choked out that one guy you thought was John Lastman. It's never been the same.
Started it all.
That was this downtown.
That's what started the whole thing. Is me choking out a stranger.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Because you lived in New York for a good portion of your life, and Kristen lived in New York, so I want to get her take on this as well. But did you see the rat birth control bill that they passed?
Birth control? It might be time. Yes.
Dude, it's ridiculous. How are rats gonna have better health care than some women in this country? It's insane.
Well, you see those pictures of rats carrying pieces of pizza away in the subway.
They're huge.
They're huge.
They're like a small dog, some of them.
Oh, well, speaking of rats, Kristen Bird is up next. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank all our listeners for all your continued support. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, they now have hundreds of products, some of you may not even know about. For example, the brand new 4-pack dish towel sets, just $25. 6-pack towel sets, just $25. Bed sheets for as low as $25. Check out their overstock and closeout sale and save up to 80% off select items. You're looking for a good night's sleep? Take advantage of the classic collection on a variety of MyPillows for as low as $9.88. These amazing offers won't last long, so order now. Just go to MyPillow.com or call 800-516-5146 and use promo code TOM.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
I hosted my show on the radio for 40 years. Now I host the Tom Barnard Podcast, and I'll tell you, I've never seen the passion and engagement from our audience as I do now. I know we also have businesses that listen to our podcast, and it got me thinking, wouldn't it be great to help those businesses grow by telling my listeners about them? So here's the deal. If you own or handle marketing for a business, would like to have my audience buy your product or service, visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and we'll put together an ad campaign to help your business. That's TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and thank you for listening.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
You damn right. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Burt, Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. All right, you had a big question for Kristen Burt.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask if she has heard of the bill that was passed in New York for the rat birth control. And regardless of all the jokes that people get off about, women maybe not having access to birth control and these rats now do, is that something that you wish would have been around at your time in New York to maybe cut down on the rat population?
Yeah.
Yeah, the rats will outlive us all in New York City in particular.
Oh, yeah.
It was always particularly special in the summer when the garbage piles, which they've just changed. I know Eric Adams, one of his big things, he's like, we're going to actually have garbage cans. And I was like, really? Like, we couldn't have been putting, because whatever it is, I don't know how this ever started, but restaurants, when you put your trash out, it's just garbage bags piled up on top of each other.
Yep.
And when you walk past them in the heat of the summer and the rats are all like swarming around it because there's food in there. Gosh, I don't miss that. So maybe this will help a little bit.
I know New York has a lot of people, but like, how do you just how is it a good idea to just let's have piles of trash in the streets?
Yeah.
Like a trash can is not some revolutionary design. And it sounds like they spent a decent amount of money, like, let's figure out how to do it. Every other like suburb in the country knows, just like get a can, put the bag in there, they'll come around and pick it up.
It's so strange to think that in 2024, like Eric Adams acts like he just invented the garbage can, as you were saying.
The wheel.
And I even remember when we would have major snowstorms and the garbage would pile up because obviously the garbage trucks couldn't come through until they had plowed. And you would have sometimes like a week's worth of trash out there on the sidewalk, and you're navigating that and snow and slush. Living in Manhattan is like, it's not for the faint of heart. I will tell you that much.
I mean, first you need at least $2 million, and then you have to wading through heaps of garbage. Yeah, it just sounds like the worst time.
But it's the best time too. Isn't that the craziest thing? When I go back to New York City to visit or for work, I will go to some of my old stomping grounds that still exist and just like cry, because it is the best time of your life in some ways. It's also sometimes the worst time of your life because it is a hard city to live in. You have to have a really thick skin. And not everyone can do it. And I'm kind of proud that I did it at such a young age. I moved there when I was like 17.
Ooh.
And go to college. So it's just kind of crazy when you look back on that. My mom was like, I cannot believe I dropped you off at that age in the middle of the city. And just were like, good luck in college.
I loved living there. I got to be very, very honest with you. I just absolutely, the 10th Street Deli, you go up, the only part I didn't like about it, and I brought this up many, many times, I lived right across the street from a public school on 20th Street and 2nd Avenue. There's a public school right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to go to the playground and play stickball with the Puerto Rican kids who kicked my ass every day. And I'm still pissed off about it. I would like to point that out. It's not fair that 12-year-olds could kick my ass at a sport.
They're New York kids, though. They're hardy. They can do it.
They're hardy children.
They are.
I'm living there. I loved living in New York.
Yeah, you will never, like, people will be like, I hate the city. I'm like, if you haven't lived there, it is such a cool experience. I honestly think it's best done in your 20s when it's okay to be broke.
Well, that's true. That's true.
It is. Unless you're going to be a gazillionaire and live there, that's a totally different thing. But there were just so many opportunities. Just the things that I experienced, the people I met. I just have so many friends from that time in my life longer than friends I actually met at college, which I think is kind of interesting.
I haven't been back there now in about, God, I went to visit a couple of people matter of fact, with Vince Flynn. So that's got to be at least 10 years ago. Somebody told me Vince has been dead for 10 years already. Is that accurate? Good God, that time flew by if that's true. But
yeah, we're in a time warp too after the pandemic. I feel
that's true. That's a very good point. Yeah. So if it's not 10 years, it's coming up on 10 years. I'll tell you that. But we used to go there all the time and just hang out, have a great time. There's so many wonderful things to do. The only thing I will tell you is that if you're walking down the streets looking intimidated by being in New York, that is not a good idea. Walk down the street with your chest sticking out like you're confident as a sumbitch, and everybody will just leave you alone.
Look people in the eye. They don't like to be looked in the eye. It's
You're right.
confrontational, and that's what I would do. Because I'm 5'3". What am I going to do?
What are you looking at?
It's all
and you have to walk with purpose. And do know that if you are in trouble, New Yorkers will come to help you. They are some of the best people in the world.
You are 100% right about that. No question. Except it never helped me against the Puerto Rican kids in stickball, which really pisses me off.
Yeah.
But anyway,
help! They're beating the hell out of me.
They're killing me over here.
Yeah.
What the hell? Joan Jett was my next door neighbor. Never got a chance to meet her. Met her brother a bunch of times, but I never met her.
Joan Jett and the Blackhearts.
And the Blackhearts. What?
Did you sing? Like, so maybe she would like come out of her apartment.
The problem was that, I pointed out to people I do it, but once she hears my great voice, she's going to be kind of ashamed of her own. So,
Well, she's got a pretty gritty voice. She could be like, I love rock and roll. Put another dime in the jukebox, baby.
Yes. The old living in New York. Chicago too, all of it. I love living in all those places. It was
Chicago's good living too. I love Chicago.
Yes. Minneapolis, St. Paul, nothing wrong with that either. And Los Angeles, of course.
It's the winters that get me. It's honestly, I would live in Chicago. I would move there today, honestly. If someone was like, we've got a job, I'd be like, can I go remote for winter?
Yeah, well, that's not a bad idea. Go remote for winter.
I'll be a snowbird. It'd be fun.
So anything new coming on television, movie theaters, any great stuff coming up?
This is kind of a light week. I think probably because we had the vice presidential debate. Oftentimes they just kind of program around that. We're going to see, the first week of the television season was September 15th. Started really the 16th. We will start to see the second wave, which will start next week. And we'll see a second wave of a lot of broadcast shows coming back and returning to the air. Like tonight, you do have Law and Order and SVU, a lot of long time shows like that. But this week, I always think that they're really doing counter programming. They have to be really strategic about it because we are in a presidential election year.
Right.
If you lose out on Tuesdays and then everything gets juggled around, we're also in the fall. You have football. And I'll tell you, football is king. It's like the number one show on TV.
It is very, and then we got about an 18-hour football day on Sunday because our game starts at 8:30 in the morning or something.
Yeah, so essentially from 8:30 to
11
o'clock at night, whenever that last game gets done, there'll be football on TV.
Yeah. A lot of football, no question about it. But we'll keep our fingers. Are you a Boston fan?
No, I don't watch any football except for the Super Bowl. And it's usually just for this, the halftime show, depending on who it is. It used to be for the commercials too, but they show them the week before. So I'm like, what's the point? I've already seen them. They show them on the internet. And I think they try to do it to get, maximum PR, but I'm like, the element of surprise is no longer there. You're like, oh, I knew, that actor was going to show up in this commercial. It's not a surprise.
What ad was it where they said, my job is like herding cats? And then they showed a bunch of guys herding actual cats, which I thought was kind of cool. That was a good commercial.
I have 2 cats, and let me tell you, you cannot herd them.
No, you cannot herd cats. They're not going.
No, and, God forbid, if there's an emergency, like trying to herd a cat in an emergency is not easy.
So I got to get to episode 4 of Monsters because Doug Sprinthal on the show. I'm on episode 3 right now. I haven't seen that yet. So I got to watch 3 and 4 this upcoming weekend. So I know what I'm talking about next week because I guess it gets really horrible.
Yes. And
she goes,
I'm not going to mention Kitty.
Oh God. Oh, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. How do you get to hate your parents so much you want to shoot them in the face?
Well, if the allegations of sexual abuse are true.
Oh, really? We're going through all that? Yeah, okay. I
Mhm.
suppose.
Reportedly, his dad, or their dad, I should say, sexually abused them. So
No,
that might
not
do
the mom.
it.
Why'd they kill the mom?
Well, I think that's the big question. But maybe because she never stopped it,
Put the brakes
knew about
on.
it. Which happens a lot. But you also have to realize oftentimes the spouse is also a victim.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah,
that
of
is
abuse, and they didn't have the power to stop it, even though our natural instinct is to say, like, why didn't your mother or father stop this?
See, now that's the one thing right there, and I kind of grew up with this in my head. Life sucks, but it doesn't suck that much. At least Dad's not taking me deep, so it's like it always could be worse. People need to think about that. I'm not saying you should just put up with how you're being treated, but don't think it's the worst thing ever, because it could get a hell of a lot worse. Right?
Yeah, I think in most situations, at least like if I'm going through my day and you get a flat tire or
right.
whatever else, is like, yeah, there's, wars going on in the world or people that are in much worse situations. So I try to, keep your head up a little bit.
What's interesting about that? That stuff must be kept very, very quiet in private residences, because obviously growing up, I never heard of any of that stuff. Now, I'm assuming it was going on now that I've grown up to be a man and all the rest of it, but you never heard about that stuff in my neighborhood. So maybe it wasn't going on. I don't know.
It was going on. It's going on in every neighborhood, in every household, in terms of like, you can't say, oh, they're rich. That doesn't happen there. It happens. It doesn't matter what your income is and who you are. It does happen in every neighborhood, unfortunately. And there's such a stigma around it. I hope that we're getting to the place where we can talk about it more, and that there is less of a stigma and people can seek help and feel that at least that there's one, when it's a kid, especially, that there's one trusted person in their life that they can go to, whether it's a teacher or a coach or, a parent or another family member, to help them out.
I don't understand how you get there to be sexually attracted to your own child. I don't understand the human brain to that point.
I don't think it's sexual attraction. It's sexual deviance, and
So it's brutalizing.
and oftentimes abuse is cyclical.
Yeah.
And there could be people with chemical imbalances in their brain. There's a lot, I think.
See, look at there. Right. Perfect example. My dad was schizophrenic. He was crazier than a sumbitch, but at least he didn't take a run at me. So I guess my situation wasn't as bad as yours. I'm talking about other people.
But sure, trauma is trauma, and we can't sit there and
that's true.
You never want to try to diminish someone's trauma, because that was their experience, and everyone processes trauma different too.
Yeah, that's true.
You always have those people that went through horrific things. I always look at Elizabeth Smart, that case where she was abducted, and she's become this incredible public speaker and advocate and helped other victims and survivors. And I think, oh my gosh, you went through something so traumatic at 15, 14, 15. And here you are, like the pillar of strength. But other people, it may send them down a path of addiction. And that's very common, because it's a coping mechanism.
No question. All right. Can we close out on a positive up note?
On a positive note, I don't really have any positive things. I do want to put a kind of a button on the Rust drama.
Okay.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. The Armorer was trying to get a new trial, because we know that Alec Baldwin's trial was dismissed with prejudice. Everyone remembers that, because the prosecutors were withholding evidence, which is not a good idea. But the judge said this would not have impacted your case whatsoever. So her sentence still stands, and she does not get a new trial. And then also Rust, the film itself, which is completed, is going to a film festival in Poland. Joel Souza, the director, is going to be doing a panel afterward, along with the new cinematographer. And some of the topics are going to be the situation that they went through, safety on set, and the rise of female cinematographers. I don't know. I feel really mixed about this.
Yeah, it feels like they need to, because they're going to, I mean, hopefully, and I would assume there's going to be people that maybe weren't going to see Rust, but because of all the drama now go out to see the movie because they want to see, why this lady ended up losing her life. So I feel like the film should set up some sort of, hey, we're going to give money to the family, set up some sort of trust or scholarship or donation, because it does look weird to now make a bunch of money after you guys were responsible.
The husband of Helena Hutchins is officially an executive producer. It was part of his civil suit settlement. So he will get money off of this film, he and their son.
Okay.
But I think like maybe, donating to some type of, maybe you do something in terms of like encouraging female cinematographers to go into that part of the entertainment industry. I think that, maybe encouraging them, getting the education, because female cinematographers are not that common. So maybe that's where you go to kind of honor Helena Hutchins' legacy.
It's a good plan. All right, sister. We got Friday tomorrow. Any big news for the weekend?
I'll be coming to you from a new location next week. How about that?
What? Now what?
On the road. I'm going to be all over the place for the next couple of weeks. So
doing what?
Working, visiting, vacationing, working, a little bit of everything.
It was what you do. Can that be called work?
Yes, it is work. I mean, because my ideal life, I would be just traveling full time. And if I wasn't traveling, well, I'll say traveling part-time, and then the other half, I would be like lounging on the couch with my cats.
Well, a tough life.
Yes, I like to be a full-time stay-at-home cat mom. It's kind of like my goal in life. It's amazing.
You and JD Vance, the cat moms. No
he
question.
Doesn't like me. I am not his target audience.
Yes, he is. I mean, yes, you are. Yes, I said yes.
No, because I don't have kids, so he's not gonna. I'm not a breeder, so he doesn't appreciate me.
I'm not a breeder. Now it's because I've got 2 kids. I'm a breeder now.
Like I didn't contribute to the U.S. population. I only contributed to the cat household. That's it.
Cat stuff.
Cat stuff. I know.
All right. Get away from me until tomorrow.
I will. I'll see you same time, same place.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. I just love that. People not going to have kids. Well, you as a breeder. It's like, oh, God, leave me alone.
Oh,
don't you think?
And like technically, it's not like she can't have kids. She just chose not to.
Chose not to.
Yeah.
Because she's selfish. That's what you're saying?
And shame on you for not having kids, or shame on you for having kids. No matter what you do, somebody's shaming on you.
Yeah.
That is true. All right. That is going to do it. The family show up in 10 minutes.